Well, the festival here in Lorient is drawing to a close. It's the final weekend, and with me, been covering the event, is Amy Griffiths from Manx Radio. So we thought we could just look at some of the highlights between us, because we basically cover the same things. But first of all, like me, I'm sure you're knocked out about the whole thing and the size of this place.
It's one of those things where everybody who's been before tells you about it and says it's amazing. You go, oh yeah, whatever, yeah. And it's only when you actually come and experience it that it almost hits you like a brick wall. You're like, whoa. It's absolutely just, the size of it is phenomenal, and also the level of talent that's around, and it's just been totally not what I expected, but it's been amazing.
Okay, well, let's look back over the week, and it had a good big start, didn't it?
Yeah, well, we started off with the parade on the Saturday morning, so the Isle of Man were leading that, and they did it was amazing. We were in this stadium that holds about 10,000 people, and there's the Isle of Man flags, you've got the Manx dancers, the Russian Silver Band are playing, and it was a huge entrance, and it really set the scene. I thought it was just a great experience, and then having all of the other Celtic nations follow through as well. It was an amazing spectacle.
And this is the whole reason we're here, because of this favoured nation status, as you want to call it, I suppose, with Cornwall. Gives us much more of a presence, apparently, than other years. But, wow, all those people in that stadium, I mean, just couldn't believe it.
Absolutely. It was, I think, from speaking to people here and things, the fact that the Isle of Man is an honoured nation this year has made a huge difference. I mean, we have this big, huge tent that you can see behind us, and we've got so much more on display on the tourism side as well. So it's really made a huge difference, and people come up to you and talk to you as a conversation starter when you're from the Isle of Man now. It's great.
Right, take us through some of the other highlights.
Well, another one, my absolute top highlight of the entire festival has to be the dedicated night to Cornwall and the Isle of Man on Monday night. It was, the Manx performance was out of this world. I mean, I still get goosebumps as I'm talking about it now, to be honest. The whole choreography and the flow, we keep calling it the Manx River Dance, don't we? Because it is that, it's all, you had MacLear and Barul, you had the Nefani dancers, you had the Kurd and Kurjak choir, the Russian Silver Band came from the back and made a huge entrance.
And it seemed to have a flow to it, didn't it? It really seemed to be like a big show had been put together, especially.
Absolutely, and they were telling the Manx story. They had the huge figurine of Manannan right in the centre stage that the dancers were dancing around. And it was just a celebration of being Manx, and the way it had all been put together was just sublime. I mean, we were sat in the audience in shock, I think, weren't we, a little bit?
Well, we were first on our feet, I think, as well, weren't we?
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Well, I think we started the standing ovation, and apparently there's only been one other standing ovation in that tent for a similar event in the festival's history.
Well, we haven't got time to do everyone, but some of the highlights you
Some
made
of the
note
highlights, I think. The Manxman, which is a film that was directed by Alfred Hitchcock, and it was based in the Isle of Man, obviously, as the name suggests.
But filmed in Cornwall.
So it very much suited it. But one of our lovely Manx singers, Christina Doherty, was performing with the Alan Pennick Band, and they were doing a soundtrack alongside, because it's a silent film, so they were playing the music alongside it. And I think that was a great combination of the Cornish and Manx talent as well, and it was a great way to portray that. So I thought that was a real highlight for me. Last night was a great laugh. We had a nautical ceilidh here in the pavilion tent, which is our base, and so we all dressed up like sailors, and MacLear played, MacLear and Barul are two of the standout bands of the whole week. Every time they come on stage, you know that it's going to be a party. The crowd goes wild.
Well, let's look at the pictures from last night. I mean, it was crazy in there. You got to see these guys to believe what reaction. And in fact, there's been some rejiggling of events to put them on, I think, more often at the end of the night, because that's what everyone wants.
Yeah, exactly, because, they finished the night on such a high. I think, what was it they were saying? They were asking the audience what crazy is in French, so they're going, tout le monde go fou! And everyone goes crazy. It was, and they are just such talented performers, and they're almost like mini celebrities here at the festival as well. Everywhere you go, when I interviewed Tom Callister, the fiddler, he was, as I was interviewing him, he was stopped for an autograph and things like that. So, They are big names here at this festival, and it's really unsurprising to see why.
Well, we'll have to leave it there, although the final item as such it is a handover today, not the actual final day, but it's going to be a handover to Australia, who gets the honour next year, be the favoured nation. It's going to be interesting. We're also going to be covering the big event which takes place tonight. This is a big sort of...
the Trophée de Musique Louis Grayson.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And there's 2 from the Isle of Man in there.
Yeah, for the first time ever, two of the 4 finalists are from the Isle of Man. So you've got Ruth Keggin and Barul, who are in the final. So it's a real, the Isle of Man, I think it was Tom Callister that said this, that up until now the Isle of Man has had to fight to prove how talented we are and how deserving we are to be here. And this year I think we finally made that breakthrough and actually shown people that even though we're small, we're worthy.